Okay, so we've got Eton Wick manager Colin Jacobs joining us just moments after a narrow defeat today. Colin, commiserations on the loss. I'll ask you if your reaction to a 3-2 loss to FCBracknell on the opening day of the season.
Yeah, a bit disappointed if I'm honest. I think from our point of view, I feel like we really let the game get away from us today. I think FCBracknell were definitely there for the taking. And to be quite honest, it was three sloppy goals to concede really. I think over the 90 minutes, I think we played really well. I thought we were really positive. We came out and sort of went out from the blocks, but and started well. But we picked up a couple of injuries. One to one of our arguably strongest players. Ben, who picked up a bit of a knee injury, so disappointed with that. And then Gary, also another good player, central midfield. He had to come off about 10 minutes later, so we had to bit of a reshuffle in the first half. But the players that came on, Felipe and Arjun, I think they both did cracking jobs for us and filled in those roles quite well. I think it was a really good performance, but disappointed with what could have easily been a good 3 points for us. Certainly, I feel like we should have definitely got a point out of the game at least. I think we had our chances, and yeah, disappointed I think would be the summary on that.
Obviously, let's look at the first half then if we can, Colin. Obviously, you weren't helped by having two injuries to players that looked bright in the opening 20 minutes, but I'm sure you admit you can't. You might get away with making one mistake in the game, but not three, and have a fair chance of coming back. Is that a fair assessment? 3 soft goals conceded in that opening 45 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, all 3 of the goals were totally avoidable, and we had this in our locker last season, and we talked to the boys a lot this season about trying to make sure that those type of mistakes stay in the locker, or get them out in pre-season matches or in training sessions. You can afford to make those type of mistakes and get away with it, but when it comes to a match, you can't afford to make that many mistakes. And like you say, it wasn't just one mistake, it was 2 and 3, and actually if you take those mistakes out of the game, to be honest, over the course, FCBracknell didn't actually have too many more opportunities. They had a couple in the second half, but first half, I think, to come in 3-0 down was very disappointing, and we had some very interesting team talks at half time.
Tell me about that then. What did you say to the players then to get back into the match so well in the second period?
Well, I think just reminded them that actually, we were, I think, arguably probably the better team, and to come in 3-0 down was a real like sucker punch, if you like. And I think we were doing enough, even with the changes that we made in the first half. We were doing enough to certainly probably maybe come in a goal to the good. So to come in 3-0 down was really disappointing. I mean, we were quite firm in what we said in there. I won't disclose too much about what we said, but we laid it all out, and making mistakes like that, you can't make mistakes like that against a team like FCBracknell and then expect to come back and win the game. And I think if we could cut out those errors, then we come in, worst case scenarios, we come in 0-0 at half time, and then we push on from there. And I just said to the boys, look, whatever you did out there in that first half, that's water under the bridge now. You now need to go out and up your game, and if you made a mistake, don't make that mistake again. To be fair to the lads, they worked really well in the second half. I think I got a reaction out of them, and that was the key message. That was what I wanted, and I think anybody looking at that game, the second half, we came back, and we probably could have got a point out of the game. Probably could have won, actually, to be fair.
Yeah,
that's difficult.
That was a spirited second half performance. Obviously, not quite enough in the end, but that's one positive to take out of the game. That how the players fought for you in the second half, and could have sneaked something at the end.
Yeah, we've had a really good pre-season. We've had one disappointing game in pre-season. The other 3 games we won. We looked really solid. Winning the ball in the air, which is something we didn't really do a lot last season. You know, winning the headers, things like that. And in pre-season, it all sort of came together, to be honest. So it was disappointing to come in 3 goals down at half time. But like I say, we had words at half time. Both the captain and I were very honest, let's say, and we wanted a reaction, and we got that. And you know, hats off to the boys. They worked their little socks off in the second half and put themselves around the pitch and put FC Bracknell under pressure, really, and you know, created plenty of opportunities. And we got a couple back, so you know, win the second half 2-0. Very pleased about that, but yeah, I think over the course of the game, just disappointed.
So unfortunately, Colin, you come away empty-handed on the opening day of the season. But what about your sort of aims and ambitions for the year ahead? I mean, you were telling me just off the record that you actually pretty much got the same squad as players again from last year, which is fantastic for consistency to build on.
Yeah, we talked about it with the two coaches I've got now, Ash and Oren, and also Ed, my captain, who's also now stepped up to be assistant manager. We've got a real structure going at the club. Everything about what we've done in the last 18 months feels like it's coming to positive avenues, let's say, and you know, everybody knows the direction we want to take the club in. We haven't brought anybody in yet. I'm going to be signing a couple of players, but we talked about it at the end of last season, and like, well, actually, if we start this season with the team that we finished last season with, then we're actually in a far better place than we were 12 months ago. 12 months ago, 18 months ago, or 2 years ago, we were on our knees as a club. We were really struggling to find the right calibre of players, and I think we worked really hard to make sure that our recruitment process is, you know, not just anybody who can kick a ball. They have to come in and prove themselves. So we've got one addition that's going to come in. Hopefully, I can get that through next week. Perhaps see him play some minutes. And yeah, I'll probably sign a couple more, but to be honest, like I say, we could stick with what we've got, and I think we've got more than enough to challenge for something this year, whether that's league honours or, you know, get ourselves into a cup run. I think we've got a great squad. They're committed, and that's something that we really lacked in previous seasons. We, you know, really lacked that commitment. Players just saying, oh, I don't fancy playing this week, but actually I've got players that want to play every week, and we were just saying off the record that every week I've got 16, 18, 20, 23 players available, so it's a great headache to have.
Well, Colin, commiserations on the results today, but best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, cheers.